What's up, gamers? Mass Gamer here. Today I'm going to bring you another assault rifle review from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Today we're going to talk about the CM901. First off, we're going to go ahead and give you a couple of spray comparisons. First is the CM901 without any proficiencies. You can see the spray is a little bit large, but overall not too bad. Pretty decent gun as far as the accuracy goes. You can see without the kick, it's going to give you a little bit of an upward spray as far as the cone of fire goes, and kind of a little bit of a triangle pattern there. The next one here is going to be the CM901 with kick, so you can get an idea of why I suggest the kick proficiency with this weapon. You can see that it gives you a little bit of a tighter cone of spray here when you're fully auto-firing from the hip there, aiming down the sight. You'll see this is a pretty accurate weapon. Overall, a decent weapon for anybody to use. So you can see it's a little bit less accurate than I'd say the M4A1. Then we're going to go ahead and jump right into the gameplay here. We are going into one of the DLC maps, Overwatch, which I think is a pretty decent map. Overall, it's fairly laid out pretty well here. I think it plays pretty well. Even though it is a larger map, it does seem to move pretty quickly, so I do enjoy this. As one of the best DLC maps in my opinion overall. You'll see a lot of my gameplays are domination. I love domination. I think it is probably one of the best game types there are in the game. Obviously that's personal preference, but I like it because it's fast moving. You know, and if you're familiar with the spawns, you're going to know where the enemies are, so it does cut down quite a bit on the camping, even though it does still occur. But anyways, let's get back to the CM901. I know a lot of people think this weapon is absolutely useless, and then I've seen people have videos of mobs with this thing, so you know, it really does come down to personal preference. I've gotten thousands of kills with this weapon, so I can tell you my personal experience with it, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is one of the lighter, more lightweight assault rifles. Obviously, with the lightweight of this weapon, you are gonna have to give up in some areas. This one, it happens to be the rate of fire. That's the only real big downfall of this weapon, is the rate of fire. It does have good iron sights, so I don't really suggest using a red dot unless you absolutely must. Typically, I'm going to use the iron sights with kick and with extended mags. This weapon is, and I don't know how I didn't kill those guys' damn spawn protection there. But this one does have good iron sights. The movement on it's really good, so you can keep mobile if you're an aggressive player. And you know, it's a good weapon. And like I said, the attachment options for this one is definitely going to be either a red dot or iron sights. I would say you definitely want to use kick for this weapon. It will give you an added amount of accuracy. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the ratings that I'm going to give each one of these weapons here. Now, I've basically completely forgetting about whatever the game itself is rating this weapon as far as the power and all the stats that it gives, because I don't think that makes really any much of a difference at the overall feel of things. So it really comes down to the way the gun feels, the way the gun plays. So the estimated stats that they give, I don't feel are 100% accurate really. So basically, I do it in 4 different sections. First one is going to be the power, and that's the actual damage. That's the actual damage that this weapon is going to do. Basically, the next one is going to be the accuracy and reliability. I had the reliability on there because the accuracy, you know, and the reliability, I think, go hand in hand with these different weapons in the game. Because you have something that's overall accurate, but it might not necessarily be reliable in most situations. So I give it that additional rating there. And then the next one's going to be the movement or the weight of the weapon, because that's going to have a big it's going to be a big factor into the type of player you are, how you're going to play with the weapon. And then the next one's going to be the first strike, and it's related to the rate of fire, but it's the overall, you know, if you're coming toe-to-toe with someone, face-to-face with someone, you know, and you're both using different weapons, you know, what's going to be your chance of getting off that first round to actually win that close quarter battle. So going back to the ratings here, the first one is going to be the power. This weapon is a fairly powerful weapon. I did rate it a 3. It does have a decent rate of fire. As far as the power goes, I think it definitely is one of the mid-range to stronger assault rifles, so you can definitely deal out some damage with it, and that was a pretty bad mistake there. And the accuracy and reliability of this weapon, I think it's a pretty accurate and pretty reliable weapon, so I do give it a 3. The movement for this weapon, like I've said before, it is lightweight, so you are able to run and gun fairly well with this weapon. I think it's a good weapon and allows you to stay mobile on the battlefield there. The biggest part that this weapon is going to suffer is going to be the first strike and the rate of fire here. This one is really slow rate of fire, which is the biggest downfall of this weapon. If its rate of fire was up, it would be right up there with some of the better assault rifles, in my opinion. Not to say it's not a good assault rifle, but the rate of fire definitely does take away from the overall experience. So the overall rating that I give this weapon is an 11 out of 20. So you know, average, slightly above average as far as that goes. Definitely can do some damage with it. It really just comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. Now, this weapon is pretty much good for most game types. I would say if you're a search and destroy player, I don't know if this would be your best choice because of that lack of rate of fire, unless you're more of a defensive player. Just because you know, you really need that first strike capability if you are coming toe-to-toe, since you only have 1 life, obviously. So, but you know, overall, you can use this in any game type for the most part. Now, I also break it down by the player skill. Basically, there's, in my opinion, 3 different groups of players that play Call of Duty. You're going to have your beginner, which is somebody that's you know, not real familiar with Call of Duty or first-person shooters in general. Then you're going to have what I think is the majority of Call of Duty players, which would be average. And then you're going to have your good players. Obviously, there's going to be varying degrees of skill sets within that, but just to break it down for the purposes of these videos, I would say those are going to be the 3 major categories that we're going to be looking at here. This weapon, I would say, due to the slow rate of fire, probably better for the average to good players. Although some beginners, depending on their how quickly they're able to learn, you could use it because it is accurate and everything. But I would find that beginning players would lose a lot of gun battles due to the low rate of fire. So I would say it's more prone to be used by average to good players to really deal out some serious damage with it. Then the player types, I also break it down to the different player types. Basically, we have a defensive, which would be your camper, somebody that's guarding the flag, whatever you want to call it. Then you're going to have your moderate or more stick and move, middle of the map players, where you know, it's move to a location, stick for a little bit, move to another location, stick for a little bit, kind of hold out the middle of the battlefield. And then you're going to have your aggressive player type, which is more what I play. I'm more of an aggressive player. I'm more in your face, usually the first guy out there. I would suggest the type of player to use this would be defensive to moderate. The reason I do suggest that is that if you're an aggressive player, you're going to lose a lot of those first battles due to the slow rate of fire and the low first strike rating for this weapon. So definitely would be a defensive to moderate play skill player type for this type of weapon. Now, as far as the class setups go, I always want to give a little bit of insight to what the recommended class setups are for these weapons. For this one, like most of the assault rifles, I think you do need sleight of hand. That quick reload is really going to be able to buy you a lot of time to win those gunfights where you're not able to get them on the first clip, or you're dealing with multiple opponents at the same time, which often happens. So I definitely think that sleight of hand pro is going to be a staple and a necessity in most class setups here. The second for this one, I would say it would be either assassin or hardline. I think for this weapon, it's a louder weapon, so I think any advantage that you're able to get with it, as far as being able to sneak up on opponents, is going to give you that advantage. If you're a little bit better of a player, or even somebody that just needs a little bit of help with your kill streaks, I would say you want to get that hardline on there to give you that added advantage to get your kill streaks. And then the third list here is, like I've said before, stalker. I think it's a necessity with the assault rifles, so you can get that added movement bonus, so you can juke out and beat out your competition. I think being able to move and gun and run and gun really does save me a lot of deaths, and I think it will do the same for you if you use this perk. I think it definitely helps out. So class setup: sleight of hand, assassin or hardline, and then stalker would be my suggested class setups for the CM901. Now back to the review of our ratings here. Give it a 3 for power. We give it a 3 for accuracy and reliability, and a 3 for movement. The biggest thing hindering this weapon is going to be the first strike, which is a 2, which gives this weapon an overall rating of an 11. So a little bit above average, a little bit above the middle range of our rating system here. So positives of this weapon is that it's lightweight, good iron sights, so you don't need to use the red dot. Biggest cons to this weapon is going to be the slow rate of fire, and it is a little bit louder of a weapon. So that would be the overall rating that I give this weapon here, and that was a killer C4 right there, by the way. If you weren't paying attention, hopefully that'll wake you up. It definitely woke up the guy in the flag. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy these. I am going to be doing this with every single weapon in the game. We will be rating it. My opinion, in my mind, is more important than a lot of other people's opinions, because I do have thousands of kills with all of these weapons here. So I hope that you find this informative. I hope it helps you out in making your selections for your classes and what weapons you're going to use. Saves you a little bit of time. So if you appreciate our videos, please subscribe, please like, share with your friends. We do appreciate everybody that is continuing to support us, and continue to support us, and we'll continue making videos. So till next time, guys, Mass Gamers out.